And
yes, thank you.
Stream is live. All right. So last time on A Crown of Cold Iron, you all are still in pursuit of the perpetrator of a series of arsonist attacks against religious institutions in the city of Queensboro. You've checked out several spiritualist sites. You visited the former site of a Pather temple. And pursuing leads, you have tracked a strange young woman named Beery Caroline, a lead which had been given to you through a client of Oryx. And you found some strangeness when you interacted with her at the Radiant Dawn headquarters. You followed her throughout the day, engaging in some very intense stalking. And you were there in the evening when an extra-dimensional space opened up and several creatures came through it and attacked Beery's apartment. You fought through the creatures only to discover that Beery was gone, and the source of the extra-dimensional space was what appeared to be a fiendish ritual site or artifact actually within Beery's apartment. You also discovered some interesting family photos, a strange draconic amulet or medallion, and a crisp white hoodie hung in the back of her closet, a trademark distinctive of some of the perpetrators of these attacks. So we left you all having just discovered the fiendish nature of this effect, and we'll pick up right there in Beery's apartment. So what would you all like to do?
So did we break the totem?
We disheveled it.
All it took was basically shoveling some of the bones out of alignment, and the space came apart.
Guys, we're back in the regular world.
Hey, whose car? Who parked their freaking car on the sidewalk?
More like, who parked my car on the sidewalk? Not me.
I'll say the answer to both of these is Zyra.
I go to the window and look out and go, why are there 4 pedals if there are 6 directions?
Way to make obscure references.
Exactly.
In my mind, that just tells me that Auric interprets the world as a hex instead of a square grid.
Can we tell if the bones in the totem what nature they are?
Make a
draconic or
make a religion or arcana check. This is going to be a pretty high check.
16.
I'm still raging.
You're gonna be better than mine. Mine's a 9.
16 for Cyrus.
Are Alexi and Auric going to roll?
I'm rolling Arcana.
Orc is distracted by the car.
6.
Oh no. The best you can come up with is that it doesn't resemble anything that you all have really seen much of before. As far as what it actually is, it's a little hard to tell. But you do see some similarities between some of the non-standard features of the skull that was on top of the pile. It does bear some similarity to the poor, nearly incinerated remains of the figure that attacked the Vance River Gathering.
Yeah.
You're not allowed on my computer.
I want to put the skull in the bag of holding.
What are you picking it up with?
And
The mage hand?
yep.
Make a charisma saving throw with advantage.
Charisma save. 19.
Even with the intermediary of the hand, you definitely feel something. You're suddenly conscious of the way in which the hand sort of magically connects back to you, because you feel something trying to sort of slither and twine its way around that connection back to you. And you just hear this muttering voice. It's gonna be soon. It's gonna be soon. I can taste it. I can taste it in your teeth. I can taste it in your eyes. Door. It's gonna open the door. And then you feel the grip lessen.
Fine.
And it goes into the bag. Immersive holding.
Oh, also,
Oh, I
does
have the first.
Ah.
The messenger bag of holding.
now that we are back on the same plane, is my locate object working?
It is indeed working. Let me double check the parameters of the spell. Now let me look up how big 1,000 feet is.
It's 300 meters.
3 miles?
You feel your connection to it is reestablished. You're on the same plane as it again. But it's definitely like you're almost catching it like just at the very edge of sort of arcane hearing.
Okay.
It's rapidly getting out beyond 1,000 feet.
In what direction?
Oh, let me think.
Or at least
Can
Cyrus notes the direction.
Yes, there we go.
If it's moving fast, do we need to get going?
It's not necessarily moving super fast. It just got a good head start on you.
Okay.
Does the, and I don't know if we can like, because the age isn't going to match real well with the pictures, but we saw what Abbess Vance showed us a vision of a man with the woman who did the fire.
Yes. So in that scene with the fire, the details that she noted for you was a shorter woman wearing one of these white hoodies, a man who was taller than her, who had somewhat graying hair and had a creepy smile. That was the only thing she caught.
Does the man in these family photos at all look like he could be, or did we just have her verbal description? We didn't actually, she couldn't.
You
I
just
can't-
have verbal description. That was what she literally like turned around and saw right before they sent a wall of fire sweeping towards her.
Okay.
Do we want to identify this amulet, this draconic amulet?
But is there anything we can learn here, or are you thinking we would need to take it somewhere?
I mean, I got my phone.
Okay.
I can try and do a Bing image search.
Bing.
F uses Bing.
Or
In this alternate world, for some reason, the history of the Fae caused Bing to supersede Google.
My e-reader still uses Bing for translate.
Oh, no.
oh,
I used it 2 days ago.
You all are making phone calls on your iZooms.
I guess first I'll just take a look and see if it strikes any chord just looking at it, and then if it doesn't, I'll try and do some internet searches.
So I'll say everyone else, if you want to do a technology check, go ahead and do that first, because that will represent you kind of looking it up and seeing what you find. And everyone can go ahead and do that.
I got a 7.
Dirty 20.
All right.
Mm,
The power of Bing.
Cyrus got a 4 plus whatever his thing is.
All right. Oh, that is just slightly short for him. So go ahead and roll. If you got less than a 10, roll religion with disadvantage. If you got more than a 10, roll religion with advantage. And Auric, you're going to roll at advantage, and you have a little bit of an edge.
Usually with
Ah,
disadvantage.
Disadvantage if you got less than a 10.
I rolled a 2 and an 18, so 2 it is.
I got a 10.
11 at disadvantage.
All right.
If you want to try and figure out what the drug connect thing is.
So
Or all right, or Cyrus can roll it.
So it's just a straight roll at disadvantage?
No, you're doing a religion check at disadvantage because I rolled your deck technology check.
Oh, when I get on deck.
9.
9.
Your Google foo was not strong today.
Oh, I rolled a natural 4.
Yes.
Okay.
The
I
force
got
continue.
7 religion.
All right. I mean, kind of between Zyra, this isn't something you've seen a whole lot of, but there's just enough details that relate to sort of old, like pre-sundering mythology that you kind of put a few things together. Auric, this isn't quite from your neck of the woods, but at the same time, like, there's something fundamental about this division of dragons that seems to run across even like different worlds. That chromatics are red, black, white, green, and blue. And that metallics, oops, can't read a list, are
Silver,
brass,
copper, brass.
yeah, brass, bronze, copper, gold, and silver. These are kind of draconic dualities, and there's other strange kinds of dragons out there, but for some reason this runs very consistently. And so between the two of you, you can put together that this gives the appearance of some kind of draconic, good aligned draconic imagery.
And Zyra would know whether metallic or chromatic was which one.
I think so. I think that's kind of what you'd be bringing to the table, because in the past there would have been chromatic and metallic dragons sort of at work in the world, and you'd be familiar with how they fit into the stories.
You want to let Cappy know what that is?
Oh yeah. Basically, in a very reductive way, metallic dragons tend to be good aligned. They tend to work for humanoids, like for their good, not like employed. Chromatic dragons tend to be the traditional kidnap the princess, eat the knight, steal the treasure.
Or old.
Well, that's
Yeah.
nice.
Well, that's true.
Well, I mean, they all kind of hoard treasure, but metallic dragons tend to accumulate their treasure legitimately, and chromatics tend to take it. And a lot of this has to do with there's connections to draconic deities that strongly influence these dragons. Like Dragonborn tend to be more free spirited in the sense that they can kind of go whatever way they want. Something more like angels and devils tend to be more alignment constricted, but metallic and chromatic still tends to kind of shake out roughly good and evil.
Metallic, chromatic, good and evil. Okay. It gets me because you always say chromatic and metallic. Like when people are talking about dragons, they list
Mhm.
chromatic and then metallic, but we always talk about good and evil.
Mhm.
So they're not respected.
I think partially it's just because by the nature of the game, chromatic dragons just come up a lot more. And so they get mentioned first. Because good dragons aren't super interesting for players, because what are you going to do with it? You probably shouldn't kill it. So
This has been Dragons.
welcome to Dragon Talk, taking all your draconic questions.
Okay,
All right.
so we've got a weird kind of duality going on where she's got an amulet for good dragons and then demon ritual totem.
But also like weirdly hidden. Like it was like under the bathroom sink. So like I
Yeah.
don't know. Strikes me as like somebody who wants to mess with somebody, but not necessarily.
Mhm.
Right.
So you don't think she made it and hid it. You think somebody made it in the apartment and hid it from her.
Is the wonder.
Well, and just to sow confusion, you did in fact find the amulet stuffed all the way in the back of one of her drawers. It was not in like a prominent place that looked like she was using it frequently. It seemed like something that had been sort of pushed away and then unused.
Right, and I remember thinking, and I didn't say out loud, I bet this is a Tamaran amulet.
Once you have that thought, you do notice, even down to small details, the distinctly sort of serpentine nature of the design, the way the scales are kind of etched in. It very much resembles those that sort of metallic mural you remember seeing in the pictures of the Tamaran Community Center.
Okay. I'm putting that back in the drawer. No need to steal her amulet.
Sure about that?
I mean, I'm putting it back in the drawer. If you take it back out again, that's your goal.
Lexi's busy looking at cat videos, okay? She rolled really badly on her Google search.
That's why I use Bing.
Auric, when you go to put it back into the drawer, it suddenly grows uncomfortably warm in your hand and starts to even kind of.
It's fantastic.
Like, warm as in I need to let go and drop it because it's going to burn my hand.
I guess it depends on how far you push it. The closer you get to putting it back in the drawer, the more extreme it gets.
Okay, not putting that back. Huh. We will return you to your rightful owner.
Is there anything on this hoodie, or is it just it's just white?
Make an investigation check.
$10. Oh wait, no. Hold on. Investigation I have proficiency in, I think. 12.
There's not a whole lot to it. You note the
You get that to load.
the brand of it, but it's not distinctive.
Okay.
Also, have any of you all fully listened to the Adventure Zone Balance? Oh no.
I can't stand their voices.
Chelsea specifically does not like Travis's voice. Like anything he's in, she can't handle.
I can hardly listen to any male dominant podcasts. I have one podcast I listen to that is a male voice, and it's Scottish. No, Irish. Sorry.
I got, like-
Forgiveness to everyone.
Yeah, I got like halfway through Balance and moved on to other stories.
I love this shirt, and I've never gotten to wear it where people actually know the other, because you can only see the top part. From here down, it's like a massive spoiler, but you don't know it's a spoiler unless you've gotten that far. Anywho, what would you all like to do?
I want to pocket the most recent family photo with the guy in it. And check real quick. Are there still people looking at Pokey?
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
I mean, just to clarify, now that this sort of fiendish collision of this plane has departed, Pokey is now fully parked, like at an angle across the sidewalk, like on the front side of the building.
Okay. Then I'm going to turn the trench coat into a police uniform and start making my way down to Pokey.
All right.
Guess I'll follow because I'm the other way out is out the window. So
It's only second floor, but it would certainly draw attention. All right. So y'all are able to make your way down. There is some confusion and onlookers accumulating, but I'm not even going to make you roll for it. They see you in the uniform and go, oh, okay, someone's handling it. You all are able to, I assume, move Pokey away somewhere.
follow that card.
We Pokey.
So you all are well into, I would say, probably late evening at this point, because you pretty much watched Beery all day into dark.
Midnight past?
Not quite that long, but you would no longer call it.
No, it was nighttime because it was 10 o'clock when it went demand.
Right. That's what I'm saying. Like it is not like, evening-ish. It is like.
I don't know anybody's names, but I know what time it is.
It's a team effort. I mean, if it makes you feel better, I definitely have to re-listen every time because there's just stuff that gets integrated on the fly that I don't have any notes for, and I have to go back and be like,
So
All right.
start heading in the direction of the business card.
Yeah.
Is Pokey drivable?
Pokey is drivable. There was one close moment where the giant, what you now recognize as a fiend, the giant Caprine fiend, almost jumped on the hood, but didn't.
Well, good.
A new dent in the door from the tail.
Well, if Pokey's anything like the original Pokey, fixed and dents.
Builds character. I'm definitely taking a nap in the back seat.
Yeah.
I guess I'm probably riding shotgun since I'm the
Right.
since the navigation's in my head.
Also, I banned Zyra from shotgun after what she did to my car.
Damn dragon.
What? I didn't do it. It was you.
What? No. But not dragons.
I'm looking at my notes. Did I just like fully give you an item and not write it down?
The finder's keeper.
It doesn't have all the mechanics in my sheet. I think I like added them in.
Okay. I might have just made that up. I always have it on my list, like what source it came from. And I don't have one for that. If it's out there somewhere, it has a different name. Okay, locate object lasts for 10 minutes. So make a survival check. It is pretty far out there.
Survival. Oh, that's gonna okay. $11.
Can I bardic inspiration it?
Sure.
What is that? That's a
That's a roll with advantage, I think.
yes. Because it's a saving throw.
It's an ability
it's
check.
an ability check. Yes, roll with advantage.
Oh wait, I roll your die with advantage.
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
not
the
mine.
D6 is rolled with advantage.
Okay, I've misread that before. Well, I got a 6 and a 3, so 17.
All right. So you're doing really well to track it as far out as it is. You can tell it is definitely in motion, and it is in fairly rapid motion. The impression you get is that Beery has gotten into a vehicle of some kind and is rapidly progressing out and away into the city. I get the timeline in my head. You might be able to follow where she's headed. You don't really know what's out there. It doesn't seem to correlate to anywhere you've been before.
Okay.
Something else happens. As soon as the you probably don't notice it until you actually like get in the car and have a moment to stop and breathe. Or actually, it was probably when you made that technology check earlier. Those of you who are kind of news junkies, so I would assume at least Cyrus probably gets this. You get an alert that from like a local news source that the Solonus, there's a couple of different news stories have all popped up at once. Someone has finally made the connection between these attacks and these sort of Solinist trappings, and that seemingly so far, as far as they know, Solonists have not been attacked. Almost simultaneous to this, you get a second story talking about a meeting of several of the Solinist leaders in town that is now being scheduled for tomorrow evening. It sounds like there will likely be protesters of some kind. The general vibe you get is of increasing religious tension within the town.
How much information do I need to ask for Jace to do his magic on finding people?
I mean, obviously, the more you have, the better.
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, like just sort of normal everyday tracking, as long as they're still using their cell phone and credit cards and email addresses and accounts and all those sort of identifiers, just a name would honestly get it for you.
Okay.
If they've started to avoid those things, more information would be better.
Okay. Can we assume that Beery's mom gave us her number?
You'd easily be able to pull up her number from her name.
Okay. Then I'm going to shoot that to Jace and see if he can get a ping or any sort of tracking on if the phone's active right now.
Right. Find a page with a roller on it. There we go. Geez. Jace got a nat 20. So like a 29 or 30 or something total. On a straight roll that wasn't even an advantage. So you give him this information through your usual, mostly texting channels. You get a ping back pretty quickly. He's started monitoring. He was easily able to pull, or they were easily able to pull.
Oh, Jace is a he.
Okay, it's the other character.
Yeah.
I don't think we've met yet. So Jace is able to pull and go ahead and tag a bunch of accounts and things. It seems like her cell phone is off at this point.
Okay.
Or is at least it is off the grid. Whether that means it's been turned off or destroyed or deactivated, it's hard to say.
Oh, do we all have Lieutenant Davis's number or just Lexi?
Lexi definitely has it. You would easily be able to get it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm gonna call the lieutenant.
Okay.
So rings a couple times. And finally it kicks in. Hello?
Lieutenant Davis?
Yes. May I ask who's calling?
Cyrus Dunn Hollow. I'm an associate of Lexi Frinos.
Oh, thank goodness. You all have something for me, right?
We're still chasing it down, but I have something that doesn't point at Solinists.
Honestly, at this point, I don't even know what's good news and bad news anymore. And you can hear now, like, it sounds like he's sitting in like the center of a bustle of activity. You hear people like running around, yelling to each other. It sounds like there is a lot of activity happening.
We found some ritual objects that are decidedly fiendish in nature. And someone dropped some sort of fiendish demand into the city using it.
It's okay. It's all right. We will figure this out too. You don't even have to make an insight check to tell, like, Lieutenant Davis is a man on the edge right now. Okay, well, at least I can give the guys here something to be looking out for. I mean, when you say fiendish, do you mean like horns and
Like, yes.
Yeah. I'll describe whatever we fought. The little ones.
Goatmen.
Goatman.
goat devils? Sure, why not? Okay. Are you all right?
Yeah, we're good. We're still following up on another lead. I hope we'll have more for you in a bit once we catch up to them.
Sooner is better. This is this is getting bad.
Yeah.
This is exactly what I was hoping was not going to happen.
I'm going to assume, just for the sake of checking it off, that True Light doesn't typically peddle in fiends.
No, not to my knowledge. Then
Okay.
again, 13 and a half seconds ago, didn't know fiends were a thing. So who knows?
Congratulations, you learned something new today.
Oh, well, we'll leave that stone unturned for the moment, unless our other lead dries up.
I mean, there'll definitely be eyes on the True Light. I don't know why, but they've also been invited to the meeting tomorrow. It sounds like it's going to be some of the Hall of Light people and some of the True Light and some of the Radiant Dawn sitting together and having some kind of, I don't know, unity plan, I guess.
Who called it?
I honestly don't know. This all started to go wild a couple of hours ago, and everybody is just very tense. There's been some, mostly just like little fist fights, people yelling things across the street or driving by in cars, but it's getting more and more estranged as time goes on.
Sure. Well, I imagine I don't have to tell you this, but that a meeting of all those people in one place sounds like a big juicy target for whoever our perp is.
Well, there's definitely going to be presence there. Regular officers just to deal with the protesters. And I assume probably counter protesters. I know I know the True Light crew is already putting out a call for calling it a counter protest. Manford's been putting out videos. You can hear him like calming himself. I'll make sure that some of our folks are mixed in as well in case more weirdness happens.
Lovely. Well, I'll let you know when we know more, but wanted to give you that heads up.
I appreciate it, and good luck out there.
You too, Lieutenant.
All right. So what do you want to do now?
Oric wakes up from his nap just long enough to ask, are there any clubs in this direction? I mean,
Like-
Beery's 22.
Oh. The direction that she was headed, it kind of seemed like I mean, it's a big town. There's all kinds of stuff everywhere. It's sort of the wrong direction if she was heading for like a social occasion. It's almost more of like a
She's not going home, right?
no, you can at least eliminate that. She doesn't seem to be heading towards the Carillon household.
Right. I also want to ask Jace anything he can get me on her dad. I don't have a name, but if he can pull a birth certificate.
That takes hardly any time at all. You immediately get back a small, just sort of like civic dossier, just sort of everyday information. Excuse me. His name was Vant Carillon, and he is deceased. Actually, it's been about 4 years.
All right. Well, there goes that idea.
I mean, you can still try it, but I don't think it's going to get you any good.
And just for reference, it does pull up Oric already knew about Nala Carillon, who is her mother, who is 47. Vant Carillon deceased. There's also a Torin Carillon who is maybe 9.
Oh, right.
He would give you the exact age. That was the DM literally not being 100% on the timeline. We're going to say 9-ish.
He's around that age.
Yeah.
He's in 4th grade.
I don't know. Are we catching up to the car? Are we catching up at all? Or do we still feel about the same distance away?
How erratically and aggressively is Lexi driving?
Not as aggressive as I would be driving.
Yeah. Not as aggressive as Zyra, but I mean, Lexi has a lead foot. Runs in the family. Do you want me to roll for it?
Yeah, go ahead. Roll a proficiency and we'll say dexterity.
Okay.
Just throw your dexterity modifier.
This one here.
That's it.
No. Up top. There it is.
Roll a d20, add your dex mod and your proficiency.
So that'd be a +4 for you.
2 to that.
22.
Jeez. All right.
Oh, okay.
You are just like whipping through traffic, like right on that edge where you're definitely being dangerous, but you're not quite being illegally dangerous. But you are really like eating up ground. The signal from the finders keeper gets, I guess it depends on how heavy of a sleeper Auric is. So you're just eating up ground, you're catching up. The signal from the finders keeper gets stronger. Eventually you see it does appear that Beery is in one. It is either the same van or it is a very similar van to the one you saw her in while she was driving around today.
Okay.
And now you can kind of see it, like it's still a few blocks up and you're kind of having to weave and try and get closer.
No, what if the UCC guy actually is bad?
What?
We don't know if she's driving, so what if the
Woof. We're tailing the van.
Yeah.
I don't think I have anything else to slow it down or get us closer. So
All right. So you all are now probably a couple of blocks behind. Oops. Nope, not how I want to do that. I just need a page with a roller. There we go. Lexi, go ahead and give me another driving check.
$15. Well, 17 if you want me to add the extra 2 to it.
Cool.
Proficiency, yeah.
Yeah, proficiency, so 17.
At this point, you've passed into what looks like it's got kind of a warehouse district vibe. It's very much sort of commercial space. There's a few smaller shops mixed in, but there's a lot of like large, you see like, company signs as you go by for different things. And you're now maybe 2 or 3 intersections behind them. It's getting a little bit more tenuous here because you've sort of passed out of stoplights and now it's just sort of stop signs. And so you're the legality of your full stops are getting a little tricky. And it is right about this point when something in Pokey explodes.
Son of a bitch, Zyra.
Let's see. I'm gonna have all of you. Oh my goodness. I'll have you type these into chat so we can keep track. I need all of you to make 2 charisma saving throws.
Wait. I don't. Oh, hold on.
do either of them have anything to do with being charmed?
They do not.
Okay.
I have 12 and 17.
Oh, hold on. Where
Hey,
did it?
kitten. Yeah. Good stretch. Good stretch. Go finish your dinner.
All right. So Auric makes the first save, fails the second. Lexi fails the first save, makes the second. Zyra makes both saves. Cyrus makes both saves. You all are driving along, and you're not sure what, but there are suddenly two successive pulses of necrotic energy that blast out from somewhere in the vehicle. And they're so close to each other that you would almost miss that it was two separate things. But two nearly identical black pulses go off, one right after the other. So, got to do lots of math now. Auric takes 29 points of necrotic damage.
What?
Lexi takes 31 points of necrotic damage.
Oh shit.
Zyra takes 20 and Cyrus takes 20.
I'm out.
I think you just nearly TPK'd.
Yeah.
Something inside the vehicle, there's almost a soundlessness to it. Like, you know, you're hearing the car, you're hearing the air rushing past, whatever's on the radio, the heater air moving through the car. And then there's just a and the car is left untouched. It doesn't affect Pokey whatsoever. The four of you are not so lucky.
Yeah.
Just from who got hit how, I'm going to say that probably one was tucked under the driver's seat, and one, let's see. So Cyrus was in the passenger seat navigating, right?
Yep.
Mhm.
So we'll say, and then one was in like the rear passenger floorboard, right under Auric's feet. And these who goes down?
I have 1 hit point.
I have 7.
All right. So suddenly this horrific, it's like a sensory assault. It actually reminds you an awful lot of the strange effects of the fiendish demand that you just passed out of. It's this rotted, stinking, there's overtones of not just the smell of blood, but almost like phantom flashes of pain and violence and horror. And you all are blasted back by it. Lexi, make another driving check with disadvantage.
Oh! I rolled a nat 1.
The wave
My
hits you.
first roll was so good.
The wave hits you and you hold on to consciousness, but your limbs just sort of flail almost convulsively from the pain, and you just whip the car into a sudden like spin out. The wheels are shrieking and smoking, and you all come to a stop. Zyra, so much of this smashed into your mind that you are unconscious. It has just overloaded every part of your mind. And the rest of you physically, like, you know, you don't have like cuts and bruises, but you just feel cold and empty and raw, like someone has run sandpaper or a cheese grater, not against your body, but against your mind, your personality, your soul.
I think I'd like to go home now.
All right. Well, Cyrus is gonna turn around and force his healing potion into Zyra.
All right. Zyra, you pop back to consciousness.
Okay. How do I? Cool. Do I get a healing potion roll? Do you
Yeah.
do that?
2d4 plus 2.
Yeah.
9.
Hey. Nope. Hold on. How do I? There it is. Cool.
So Zyra, you feel the potion doesn't just, the potion gives you a warmth that is so noticeable because for just a moment you were utterly lacking it.
Mm-hmm.
What do you all want to do?
Where'd the van go?
In the time it's taken you all to kind of glug, 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 the van is still like peeling off into the distance.
Can Pokey drive? Was it just, it didn't hurt us? I mean, it didn't hurt the car?
Didn't hurt the car, but can Lexi operate a vehicle right now? Can Lexi even do enough to let somebody else operate vehicle if Cyrus is thinking, can Lexi let him drive? Lexi's not sure right now.
So the wheels are smoking, and there is a smell of like of friction and burned rubber. It seemed like it would still drive, but yes, as has been pointed out, whether you all are in any condition to drive might be a separate question.
Cool. The first thing I do when I'm conscious is I instinctively reach my hand out and sing a healing song against Auric.
All right.
Which is going to be 8 HP.
Yay.
So much like as you drank the potion, Zyra's song fills up something in you, Auric. You almost feel it as this like internal fire that has grown very, very small and cold and dim. And this song doesn't blast through because it's a delicate flame and it might go out, but you feel it sort of gently burn a little hotter and a little brighter, and you feel some warmth start to run through your body again.
It's a kindling song.
And the flame on Charmander's tail heats up a little bit.
Here you go.
Now I want someone to make fan art of like Auric with a little leaf over his head on the tree stump in the rain. Deep cut Pokemon reference.
Yes.
I mean, I don't really want to have to track her down again.
Might not have a choice here.
If we can keep following her.
I would want to make sure that there's not more of those in the car.
Yeah.
For those who are interested, roll an investigation check.
16.
17.
12.
Nope.
So you all kind of look around a little bit, and underneath the driver's seat and underneath, like in the rear passenger side floorboard, there are now charred wisps of paper.
Okay, do we see any other scrolls?
It doesn't seem like the right consistency for scrolls.
Or, okay, do we see any other paper resembling this paper of whatever sort it is?
You gather from what you're looking at that whatever it was, a lot of the paper was consumed by whatever did this. You just have little pieces that are no bigger than like this.
Sure, but tell the consistent, like, is it printer paper? Is it Sari Dream pull-up stuff?
It seems like a printed book or novel.
Okay. Lexi, what kind of books you keep in this place anyway?
What are books?
Answer that question.
Barbarian answer.
I mean, girlfriend spends most of her time running a bar. She don't have time for pleasure reading.
And I'm assuming that when we see this tiny bit of paper that we don't also see books in the floorboards.
No.
You do not. You see what looks like maybe the remains of books.
I was gonna say there's probably some remains of receipts. I mean, think about.
I'm just saying I'm not gonna get bombed again.
Oh yeah, no. There's probably some trash on the floorboards, but it's like paper receipts.
It seems like whatever this was pretty thoroughly consumed. You don't find anything else that seems suspicious.
Follow that van.
All right.
So Cyrus, go ahead and start by making another survival check with advantage.
13.
All right. Lexi, go ahead and roll another driving check.
Oh, come on. 15.
15. All right.
Do we want to try to be sneaky or do we want to try to get her to stop?
Just like flash your lights at her.
I had another idea.
Oh, what's the
Do
idea?
you have a light bar hidden in your jacket?
Well, so I've got silent image. So if I dropped a silent image of a police cruiser with lights going in front of us, and if somebody minor illusioned the sound of a siren with it,
We can try it.
I'm wondering if we could get her to pull over. But I don't know if we. So do we want to go for subtle or do we want to just try to get her to stop?
I mean,
Lexi's very concerned about the state of her car at the end of this evening. She's very glad that Caleb's older brother is her mechanic because she gets a good discount. Because otherwise, she's gonna have to get Pokey the second. Sounds like.
So silent image is concentration, so I'll have to let go of the locate object on the finder's keeper. But I think we're close enough now that that's not as.
well, the other thing is, why were we following her? Was it to catch up to her or to see where she was going?
Both? Like,
Because if we pull her over, then she's not gonna go wherever she was going.
My big question is whether or not she's alone in the vehicle. That's my big.
Well,
if
in
we
that
knew
case,
she was- if
probably
we
go
knew she
left.
was alone, I'd be good to track her. But if she's been abducted, then I want that vehicle to stop.
If abduction is your concern, then yeah, I say we go loud.
I vote loud. Also, sooner is loud. Loud is sooner.
All right. So are you going with plan phantasmal police cruiser?
So somebody,
Apparently.
because I'm assuming I can't control a silent image and do my own minor illusion sound on top of it, or can I?
I was thinking Aura could do it.
I mean, I know minor illusion, yeah, but because minor illusion is just a single action, I think the
Oh,
problem would be it's 2 actions.
okay.
Yeah, you're gonna need one action to keep the vehicle moving and one to make the sound each turn.
So I'll
Okay.
just make sound.
Okay.
And I think I remember what police sirens sound like in this world.
You want me to make a floating police siren that just sits on top of the thing and goes off?
Wait, what? Hang on.
Because I can just make I can't make the whole car, but it can be worth 80 GP and last for 2 hours. I couldn't make the whole car, but I can make a medium size police siren.
Like the light bar, or like
Why don't you just make a siren?
or
Actually,
that?
just make it siren. It would just be in our car. We could just put it on top of our car.
So instead of a phantasmal car, could I silent image a police cruiser on
Over
top of Pokey?
I mean, I thought that was what we were doing, to be perfectly honest.
And Zyra creates the siren. Hang on, let me see. Does
Yeah.
it have to be an unoccupied?
In an unoccupied space, but it can be the top of it.
It can just be a light bar on top of the car.
Oh, does yours?
Mine doesn't have to be an unoccupied space.
Okay, mine has to be an occupied space, but it could be the top of the car.
Okay.
Right. Driving a police cruiser now.
Yes.
My parents would be so proud.
All right. In that case,
Casting silent image.
These
oh, so describe this illusion of the car and how you're doing this.
Zara's now playing The Devil Went Down to Georgia.
Yeah. So I'm gonna
The siren itself is eerily similar to The Devil Went Down to Georgia. It sound. You can't catch it until you start paying attention to it, and then once you start paying attention to it, it's the only thing you can hear.
Oh,
yeah. So Cyrus is gonna focus and stop and think and like dredge up the memories of being a kid with Alex and running from the cops. And so dredge that memory up of some of those old beat up cruisers and superimpose it over.
It's got cop engine, it's got cop brakes, it's got cop tires. I don't even remember how that part goes.
oh, all right. So you're going to try and close the distance with the van and get it to pull over.
Yeah.
All right. Go ahead and make another driving check.
Yep. 20, dirty
22.
20 or 22, yeah.
All right. You're easily able to get up pretty close. The strangely musical siren is blaring. The lights are flashing. You get closer and closer, and you're probably, I mean, you're like less than a block now. You've closed the gap of intersections, and you're close enough now that you can kind of see some movement inside. and you actually see like you almost wouldn't see it because the windows are tinted, but out of the back window you see a flash of white. And Lexi, make a charisma saving throw.
$11.
Lexi winks out of existence,
Oh, sweet.
and Pokey
Have fun.
suddenly like just
I
starts
dive
wrenching
over-
to. All right, Oric, make a driving check with disadvantage.
Oh boy, with disadvantage.
I was gonna say, you're not even behind me.
Yeah, you're coming diagonal.
You're coming diagonally. Although really, that might actually be the best.
I got a
Yeah.
12.
So you manage to like not let it immediately hit a pole or a building, and it kind of runs out of momentum into the street. And
My foot is still buckled in, so I'm just
the car is, there's this sort of faint scent of sulfur permeating through the car now, emanating from this empty spot where Lexi was sitting.
Man.
How far is
Lexi-
the van?
You get the impression, based on the speed at which they accelerate, that they slowed down and let you catch up to them to do that.
Okay, but how far
But
is
how
it?
far is it away? Can I
Right now.
react to
Um,
Lexi winking out of existence?
give me an initiative roll. This isn't necessarily like starting combat. This is just to give an objective, like how fast do you get rolling?
You got an 8.
They're moving pretty quick. You might be able to do one thing. What do you want to do?
How far away is the van? I want to cast sleep on the van, but I don't know if I'm within 90 feet.
No, we should be within 90 feet.
Using Google Maps.
We're less than a.
we're within range of whatever that spell was.
I would say you can just barely catch it.
Okay. Five D8.
Mhm.
Okay.
A single cast. Can I cast it at the same time?
I got 21.
Let's see. From your vantage point, it's hard to tell if your spell landed or not. It didn't seem to catch the driver, who continues to sort of peel out. And as they start fading, almost like unnaturally bright, you see white teeth curl up in a smile as that hooded figure in the window gives you one last look, but does not seem fazed.
Okay.
That is just incredibly creepy.
I was going to try and roll until I dropped out of frame, but I didn't want to pull my microphone off the desk. I've also still got cardboard boxes behind me.
Yeah.
All right, so we have a vaporized Alexi.
Lexi, meanwhile, is
Oh, yes.
somewhere.
Lexi, you are driving, and then suddenly you're thudding onto hard, dusty ground. The quality of the lighting has changed. Before, you were seeing street lights shining down onto this dark city street. Now it's still dark, but there is a low orange quality to the light. And it's not coming from above you. It almost seems to be emanating up from places in the ground. The air is chokingly awful. You feel like you're back surrounded by those goat demon creatures again. The air almost has a bloody metallic taste to it. And you hear voice after voice after voice. You hear things growling. You hear things screaming. You're prone, sort of dropped on your butt into the dirt. The ground around you is so dark, you're not sure if it's brown or if the ground itself is actually black. The sky overhead has deep clouds. You don't know what time of day it is. And something starts to walk towards you. At first you think it's much closer. A small horned being with wings stretching out behind. But then it keeps coming closer and closer. And you realize it's not small. It is something otherworldly and massive, still approaching you from a distance. And you start to feel these thuds through the ground as this massive creature with this red streaked black and gray pebbled skin with armor, layers of sort of natural armor flowing down, huge claws, tufts of black hair, and the face, you almost can't stand to look at it. And it starts to lean down.
Well, what has Jack sent me now?
And then, nope, didn't get it. There we go. You are suddenly dropped back onto the street. The car is now maybe 100 feet ahead of you, and you can still smell sulfur.
All right.
I didn't hit a light post.
No, you did not. Stand up and dust my butt off and walk towards the car. Say, all right, we're going home. Executive decision. You don't have to go home, but you can't stay here because the car is leaving the premise with its owner.
Is Lexi legitimately unfazed, or is this just a like down to business mode, gotta keep moving?
Lexi is basically 100% done, but also like trying to cover up the fact that she was just scared shitless.
As you say this, you almost think that you hear then it fades out.
So what happened while I was gone to the other hell realm?
There was a hell realm?
Well, it was something. I don't know what it was, but I wasn't here.
Did you see something?
Yes. And so I described whatever that thing was and what it said. And
Which is good because I didn't hear what he said.
What was the name?
did you say Jack?
Yeah.
Okay, that's what I thought.
Hell Jack? Real Jack? There was the adjective. What has Jack? Okay, I
Oh,
heard,
just Jack.
okay.
Okay.
I heard
What is
something.
Jack sent me now? Yeah. So now we need to do some research on Jack.
You don't know, Jen.
No, I don't. I just know that next time I get sent there, I want to have more than 7 fracking health.
Yeah.
Also fair.
Yeah.
All right. So
Well,
long rest time.
Long rest time.
Long rest time.
And reconvene to protect the Solonists? Question mark.
All right.
Yeah, hopefully we can figure out something to do during the day before they
before they,
meet. But
yeah, but who knows?
So everyone's going to return to their own domicile and rest.
Yes.
I'm gonna be looking for
Yeah.
cats.
All right. Auric, make a perception check.
$15.
All right. Is there anything anyone else wants to do?
I mean, I'll probably. Were there cats last time for me too?
I think I know I had a cat in the dumpster and like because I rolled pretty low. So
Well, I mean, I had a letter.
that's right. You had the letter too.
yeah, I'm not sure if everybody got a
I
cat.
don't think I had a cat.
I think I've gotten cats twice now.
Yeah, I don't have cats. So, I mean, if there's anything, I mean, I'll have active on. I mean, we've been attacked. I'll make sure I'm not being attacked.
All right. So the three of you are able to return and get some rest. Auric, you are looking for cats.
I mean, just kind of on the way home. I'm not like out walking through alleys trying to find cats.
So you are walking down the familiar streets, closing in on your apartment, keeping a close eye for any creatures of the feline persuasion. And
Where'd it go?
man, my sound effects are really getting
She's
great.
hardcore playing right now. As soon as the roll happened, she started hardcore going after her mousey.
So you're keeping a pretty good eye out. And so you notice when there's a strange change in the quality of the light. It gets darker and darker. And the apartment buildings, these tall buildings on either side, seem to loom higher and higher and grow closer and closer. And you're still searching for cats. You're looking down each alleyway. You're seeing side to side. And then you feel something warm in your hand. Something is emanating a gentle heat. And then you realize you don't feel it in your hand, you're feeling it on the back of your neck. Something is looming behind you. And you've gotten weirdly, go ahead.
I say, if you say it's a cat.
No. You've gotten weirdly familiar with like intimidating presences looming behind you. This one actually feels different. There's a warm quality to it, and it feels familiar, but not in the same way as this other presence you felt before. And there's a sound to it, this sort of sibilant like. And being of your unique persuasion, you recognize this as the sound of scales rubbing against each other. And you hear a voice. You're not one of mine, are you? But something very close, I would say. Interesting. And then you wake up in your bed. Still holding, well, I don't know if you're still holding it. You are now holding Beery's amulet in your hand.
I think religion found me. Huh. Well, that was a thing.
Yeah.
All right. So you all wake up rested and rejuvenated with only one disquieting vision between the four of you, which honestly is a pretty good track record up to this point.
That's pretty good.
Yeah, that's a good track record.
Take a long rest.
Yeah, take it long. I already did. Yeah.
So this
I
meeting,
was searching for cats, so I immediately took my long rest.
this meeting isn't until about 6 o'clock. It's 7 or 8 in the morning. What would you all like to do?
Anything new on Beery's tracker?
You haven't had any updates on Beery. Jace sort of conjectures that something last night caused her to drop off the grid. And you, of course, would know from experience, it's incredibly hard to tell if someone is voluntarily or involuntarily removed from digital circulation.
So one of the first things Zyra's going to do is to wake up and see if there have been any other new explosions or fireballs or whatever. Are there any new attacks from last night?
There have not been. It seems like whatever those two bursts, whatever they were, seems to have expended themselves, and you have not heard of anything similar happening.
Well, at least we got it.
And no new.
We
no
got
new
exploded.
fires.
And there were no new fires.
Well, I mean, that's what I was asking.
So this meeting of the Solonists is happening in the evening, right?
Yes, at the Halls of Light, which is sort of the grand Solinist cathedral in town. Any plans?
Go
Or
see if Beery,
go see what?
go see if Beery made it home.
Not a bad idea.
If there's any sign of the church van.
All right.
I was going to say this. I would probably be calling Mama Nala.
All right, we'll call that a twofer. So you roll by, and there doesn't seem to be anything particularly out of place around Beery's apartment complex. You do see some like skid marks through the grass where some jerk drove up on the sidewalk, but you don't see any of the chaos that has followed previous demands. No one answers when you knock on Beery's door. You don't see anyone through the window. There doesn't seem to be any particular response. So seeing that, Auric, you make your phone call. calling the number that you originally received this information from. And you hear, "Rawr, rawr, pew, pew. Gonna chomp the bad guys. Rawr." Torin, hand me the phone. Hand me the phone. Thank you. Thank you. Hello?
Hello, Miss Caroline. This is Auric Darlanton. How are you today?
Oh, Mr. Darlanton. I'm well enough, I suppose. Have you heard anything about Beery? Have you been able to get a hold of her?
Well, good news and bad news. The good news is we have confirmed that the Radiant Dawn are not a bad evil cult.
Though.
The bad news is I think your premonition was still correct, so we are continuing to watch her.
Oh dear.
And then I will,
go ahead.
I'm going to quickly switch over to Draconic and say, I need to meet with you to talk about this Tamar and religion.
She answers back after a sort of surprise second in Draconic as well. All right. Well, you're always welcome at the community center. Torin and I are here now helping some of the Tarians set up. Do you want to come by now?
We'll be doing a few other things, I think, first, but we'll come by as soon as we're able.
All right. We should be here at least for a few more hours.
All right.
All right.
Could we?
All right, much like his player does not totally know how to end phone calls.
Or it does not understand phone calls yet. I'm assuming that we wanted to also check with the Radiant Dawn to see if Beery had gone there.
And do we think, would we be able to like roughly get back to where we were, where we drove to? Like, would we be able to retrace steps?
Yeah. I mean, you'd probably have GPS tracking that would get you back there.
Okay. So it'd be a long shot, but we could always go back to where, as far as we got, and try locate object again and see if by chance they didn't go too much farther away.
All right. Which do you want to do first?
I guess call Radiant Dawn, see if they've seen Beery and or the van.
Do that on the drive over to the place.
All right. So you ring in, and it takes a second before someone answers, and then you finally hear a man cut in. This is the Radiant Dawn Center. This is Simon. How can we help you today?
Simon, my name's Officer Avery Dunn. I'm following up on a case, and I need to know if you've seen or heard from Beery Caroline in the last 24 hours.
Is Beery okay? What's happened?
I can't talk about open investigations at this point. I just need to know if you've seen or heard from her in the last 24 hours.
Make a deception check.
Ugh. 8.
You hear. Wait, who did you say you were?
Officer Dunn.
Officer Dunn. You can hear him like writing something down, and then some. You said Officer Dunn. Yeah. Hold on. Let me go get someone. And you get some gentle hold music. Now it'd probably be some, Lexi would recognize it. It's some like Muzak version of a Solinist hymn. It's a very pretty song, but this is a very bad version of it.
Yeah.
That's one of the guys we said.
I wrote the name down, but I can't remember. That's detective.
Oh,
I didn't think this was the name of an officer. I thought this was just the name of something Cyrus had used before.
It's you took part of it from a real officer. Well, not just an officer. You took it from the name of the head of the special crimes unit.
Oh, okay.
But also something about your, I don't know, it seems like something didn't click there. There's a pause, and the phone clicks back on. Hello? And you hear the voice of Nicholas Webster.
is that the guy who kept giving us books?
Yeah.
Can
Mr.
I
Webster,
help
this
you?
is- This is Cyrus Dunn Hollow with the NBI. I need to know if you've heard or seen Barry Caroline in the last 24 hours. We met the other day.
Did we meet yesterday?
Yeah.
I mean, I just saw her, I suppose, yesterday morning, and then again, I think in the afternoon. She went and dropped off some donations for us. Is she okay?
Was she supposed to be there this morning?
She wasn't at the dawn service, which I mean is a little unusual, but not everyone gets up quite that early every single day. Beery's track record has been very good, but should I be calling people? Is she okay?
We're not sure yet. We're following up. Have you seen the van she used yesterday?
Let me check. You hear footsteps walk off, footsteps come back, shuffling of paper. Yeah, it looks like she signed it back in before she went home. It should be.
Is it?
It should be out back. Do you want me to go check?
If you don't mind, that'd be helpful.
Papers, footsteps. You hear a sudden like, what?
Something.
It seems to be missing.
You wouldn't happen to have a tracker on that, would you?
It didn't really occur to me that we have a garage. The garage locks. The keys are kept in a locked box inside the worship center.
That's fair. I'll need the license plate number.
Sure. He rattles it off to you.
I'm going to send it to both Jace and Lieutenant Duncan.
Davis.
Davis, sorry. Too many D names.
So you send those off. Should I call people? I mean, she has a lot of friends here. Someone might have heard from her.
Sure. If you can ask around. We don't know that she's in any trouble as of yet. We're just trying to locate her to follow up.
You hear him kind of yell over his shoulder. Vincent, bring your phone. Come here. You hear someone else kind of moving in the background. We'll start calling people right away. Is there anything else we can do?
Were there any of those friends who also missed this morning's worship?
Folder opens.
There's one of them named Jack.
Shuffling of papers. We don't have a Jack here. There's Joan, who's our outreach director, and there's Jay, who's the community garden liaison, but he doesn't like people to know Jay. The J is short for Jabez. Yeah, so you want to call him Jay. I mean, we don't really keep close attendance. Beery's friends are not quite as regular in their attendance. They're there pretty often. I'd have to ask someone else who was there this morning.
Are there any friends did you recognize any of her friends that would normally be there that were missing? Like, is she usually in a small group? And was anybody in that small group missing?
It's hard to say. The dawn devotionals tend to be, it's more of an open group. Usually runs on a good day 20s. It's not like our book groups or our community groups that have a regular roster that always meets together.
But generally when someone comes to something and they have to get out of bed this early, like there's usually a person they might come with. Was Beery coming with someone?
Beery usually Beery was sort of unofficial staff here.
Okay.
She was always helping with something or showing someone around or just doing whatever needed doing. It means a lot of the time she wasn't in like a regular place when everyone else was gathering.
Okay.
Any other questions? All right.
I don't think so.
We'll start calling and see if anyone has heard from her. I hope she's okay. All right. What do you want to do next?
So that phone call would have been on the way to where Pokey exploded.
Yes. So the GPS location of where Pokey exploded.
So you're able to retrace your steps pretty easily. You're able to retrace your steps pretty easily. It takes you back to kind of a bare commercial district area of town. There's not a lot of apartments or houses or anything out this way. It's very much a place where people come to work. On the outskirts, there's a few sort of like fast food type places. It seems like a pretty unremarkable intersection. You can definitely see the sort of the first spiral where the pulses went off and the car spun out the first time, and then you can also see a strange. It's not a full like line in the road, but there's definitely a strange spot where Oryx suddenly had to like whip the car back towards the road. What do you want to do?
Fire up the Finder Keeper. See if it can get a ping.
It seems like it is outside of your range at this point.
Did they peel off? Did they leave tracks we could follow?
You do see, I mean, just a little bit, and it's based on sort of the alignment on the road. It looks like the moment right when they slowed down and whoever it was banished Lexi. It looks like they sped back up again rapidly from there. So you do get a sense of like tire tread, but it only leads you like 30 feet down the road.
Okay.
Anything else? Anywhere you want to visit?
Well,
Can't decide. Detect Magic's probably not going to be able to pick anything up with just a 30-foot.
yeah, not this much later. Y'all want to come with to the community center and grill the mom?
I guess. It's like a good time to divide and conquer, but it doesn't feel like we have anything to
What we're
divide.
conquering.
All right. Well, it is 10. So we'll pick up at the Tamarin Community Center. That'll give me time to make some better tokens. Not use these random ones from 50 different games in the past. So we will pick up there and finally meet Miss Caroline in person. All right. I'm going to kill our recording.